Good morning, Will Rogers Mustangs. It is Mrs. Kozel here, your principal, and I'm here for your Friday message. I am here to talk to you about another myth that's out there. We've talked about the myth of being late to first period doesn't count, or flex and things like that. We've dispelled those kind of myths. The myth that I want to talk to you about is play fighting is totally okay. No. So I wonder how many of you in your class right now will be able to finish my sentence when I say this, because so many of you have heard the way I feel about this, and many staff members I think would agree, and then even students too, that play fighting is, yes, thank you to those of you, thank you and thank you. Play fighting is real fighting. And I know every time I say it to students, they go, no, Ms. Kozel, like, it's not real. What do you mean? Like, we're like just doing like, No, here's why. I can tell you that even in my own home, my living room, when someone starts with they're doing a play wrestle or they're play fighting, someone always goes a little bit harder than the other person. Or maybe someone bumps into the back of them, the third party bumps into them, and now the other person gets accidentally hit, and then they're like, wait a minute, I thought we were playing. We're not playing? Now I'm mad. And it gets into a fight or flight, and they pick flight. So I know where it goes. This isn't our first rodeo. We know how this goes. So that's how I see play fighting. If you are doing that, then yeah, you're going to see some sort of consequence coming your way, because it perpetuates more unneeded negative energy and in some cases violence. Now, I also want to address when you are in a hallway or you are outside and you see a whole group going to check something out. They're not going to see something positive. They think something negative is going to happen, like some altercation of some sort. If you're someone who is following this big group, sort of, we call that a lemming who just follows a group, doesn't know where it's going, but they just follow. If you're someone who's doing that, you are perpetuating something that can happen, something negative that can happen, but you're also putting yourself at risk. You are walking into unknown danger that you don't even know what it is. So one, you're perpetuating a situation that doesn't need to happen. And two, you're putting yourself at risk. Why? We're here to try to teach you to be older students as you go through here. You're here for 3 years, and then we release you into your older years. But when you're an adult, and say you're at some open event, a concert or a restaurant or something where there are a lot of people there, there's a lot of energy happening, and you see a big crowd of people rush to one area, are you going to rush behind them to see what it is? I have friends who did make that choice, and they're not here to tell that story anymore. So if you're someone who's thinking, I want to rush because I want to see something, I want to be the one who sees what happens, or I want to film what happens, which, side note, if you're someone who's doing that, I also consider that being part of the problem, and yes, there are consequences for that. And if you want to come and talk to me about that, I'd love to explain why that's a problem as well. Anyway, so if you want to keep yourself safe, other people safe, and you want to keep the day positive, there's been a lot of weird negative energy around in the last couple days, then you need to walk the other way. Okay, I'm going to end with, the other day I was talking with Jackson, one of our students, and he had dropped something, and we were actually working on the skill of him being able to grab the piece of paper on his own. So we're talking about reaching and bending and how to get to that piece of paper, and these 3 girls just ran up. They didn't know that we were working on a skill, but they ran up and they picked it up for him and handed it to him. And so frustrated with myself, I don't have their names right now. I had 2 names, but I wanted to make sure I was complete. So I'm going to make sure I say their name next week in our video. But those 3, they ran into a situation to help someone. They didn't run because they saw, oh, something's happening. They ran because they saw something from across the field and probably thought I was being rude by not helping. They didn't know. But they came to help someone. Wonder what that might look like if you rushed in, if it was safe, to help someone rather than to be a part of the problem. What might that look like? I want you to think about that. That's the kind of person I want to be today. What kind of person do you want to be today? What choices do you want to make? All right, I'll leave you with that. Have a good day, Mustangs. Have a good weekend.